Hello, everyone. In today's module for discussion, we're going to be talking about muscles moving the scapula at the sternoclavicular and acromioclavicular joints. Now, the first movement that I want to get into is elevation, as elevation refers to the upward movement of the scapula, which is this movement. It basically occurs at the AC joint, which is the acromioclavicular, where the scapula meets the clavicle and the sternoclavicular joints, which is where the clavicle connects to the sternum. And elevation were to look something like this. Now, depression, which will be in a downwards motion, is the opposite of elevation and involves lowering the scapula downward. This movement occurs at the AC and SC joint as well, which is very similar to elevation. Now, to the next movement, which would be protraction or abduction. Protraction, also known as abduction, refers to the forward movement of the scapula away from the spine. This movement primarily occurs at the AC joint as well. Now, retraction, which would involve pulling the scapula backwards, or adduction, is the opposite of protraction and involves pulling the scapula back towards the spine. This movement primarily occurs also at the AC joint. Now, moving on to downward rotation, which would be something similar to like performing a lat pull down exercise, refers to the downward movement of the inferior angle of the scapula, and this movement occurs primarily at the AC joint as well. Now, upward rotation, which would involve the scapula going up, is the opposite of downward rotation and it involves the upward movement of the inferior angle of the scapula. Now, something else that I forgot to add about elevation, which has to do with the levator scapula. With its insertion in the superior part of the medial border of the scapula, it also plays a significant role in elevating the scapula. When the muscle contracts, it would exert a pulling force upon the scapula, which would help it elevate it or move upwards. Thank you and have a great day, everyone.